sport. Was that great?
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was
so
like
awesome.
the bomb.
Ready for active shooter training?
Oh, man, seriously? You believe we gotta do this?
According to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, an active shooter is an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined and populated area. In a recent study, the FBI identified 250 active shooter incidents in the U.S. between the years 2000 and 2017 that killed or wounded a total of 2,217 people. Since most incidents last only a few minutes and end before police arrive, it's important to know there are things you can do to keep yourself safe. This training program will educate and empower you to take steps necessary to survive an active shooting. Specifically, it will help you identify warning signs and explain why you should report them when you see them. We'll help you mentally prepare for an active shooting and help you recognize when a shooter is at your location. Most importantly, we'll teach you how to increase your chances of staying alive, whether it's avoiding, denying, or defending yourself against the shooter. And finally, we'll let you know what you need to do when police arrive on the scene. Most shooters are white males who act alone. Other than that, they share few, if any, similarities. Their age, education, employment status, and even criminal records vary widely. While a shooter can spend anywhere from a few hours to several years planning his attack, incidents usually last just minutes. The majority of active shooting incidents take place at businesses, but other places with lots of people are also targeted. Places like schools, concerts, courtyards, and government buildings seem to be prime targets as well. Although our employers have a responsibility to keep us safe, there's only so much they can do. Do not put your well-being entirely into the hands of others. Take control of your own safety. To begin, don't picture yourself as a victim. You have the right to do what you need to do in order to keep yourself safe. You are not powerless. Success in a violent situation is almost all mental preparation and has little to do with physical size or strength. The subconscious mind often can't tell the difference between imaginary and real situations. Use this to your advantage and practice how to respond to an active threat. To do this, visualize the event unfolding in your mind and allow yourself to experience the feelings that go along with it. Don't picture yourself as a victim, but as a survivor. And don't allow yourself to feel afraid or powerless. People always say, practice makes perfect. Practicing how to respond to an active shooter will allow you to react quickly and decisively without conscious thought during a real-life attack.
It's a day like most others. The weather is pretty typical for this time of year. Nothing special about the drive into work this morning, and the game last night was pretty great. They squeaked one out right at the end. You made the fresh pot of coffee today. That's the first time you've done that in nearly 2 weeks. Today isn't going to be as routine as you thought, though. There is a person with bad intentions. And that person isn't playing by society's rules. These nice people, your co-workers, your lives are on the line now. Doing nothing isn't an option. What was that? Was that fireworks? Construction? I don't know. It kind of sounded like gunshots. That sounded like a car backfiring, but I don't see a car out there. The decisions these people make right now will determine whether they're ever going to have another routine day again. Remember, at this time, law enforcement is likely unaware and not yet responding. Take the lead.
Did you hear that?
You may have to make other choices later, but right now, your best plan of action is to avoid the threat.
There's a gun! We gotta go! We gotta go!
This is your third meeting today. That last meeting went a half-hour overtime. At least in this meeting, you're leading it. So maybe, just maybe, you can get back on schedule. The doors are closed and the meeting is underway. So as long as you keep everyone on topic, this meeting should go just fine. And maybe end early. The meeting isn't going to be as routine as you thought, though. Was that a gunshot? There's the shooter. Given his position, running and trying to avoid is not an option. Staying safe now is going to require you to deny the threat. Lock the doors. Shooters are looking for the easiest targets. A locked room often isn't worth the time. If there's a go bag in the room, carefully examine the contents to see if there's something that will help right now. Since escape is not an option, act quickly. Barricade the door. Desks, furniture, filing cabinets, large and heavy objects. Be quiet. Turn off the lights. Silence your cell phones. Make sure they're not set to vibrate. Stay put if there's no other exit. Stay quiet. The first half of the day has gone pretty well so far. It's time to grab a bite and disconnect from the daily grind for a few minutes. You've just got a cold sandwich, but the microwave is warming something homemade that smells pretty good. This isn't going to be a regular lunch.
What's that?
I don't know.
You heard that?
Yeah, I did.
That's weird.
There's a guy with a gun coming this way.
You feel your death is likely if you do nothing. Staying safe this time is going to require you to defend yourself and the others. Find anything that can be used to combat the active threat. Small items in the lunchroom like knives and scissors are viable weapons. Those items do require you to be close, so think of things that might be thrown at the threat. Cell phones, food, cans of soda, Tupperware containers, and books can make manageable projectiles for self-defense. Larger items can be hard to handle, but devastating. Fire extinguishers, chairs, the mini fridge. The microwave could be used in an active defensive posture. Commit yourself to the action you are taking. Indecision will not work to your advantage. Don't hesitate. Attack. Be as aggressive as you can be. If the gun is pointed down, hold it there. Because of your leverage, it won't be easy for him to raise his arm. You need to rush the shooter and use your improvised weapons against him. In a tug-of-war situation, push and let go of the gun to cause the shooter to lose his balance. At no time should you fight fair. Aggressively attack the shooter. Fight dirty by going after physically weak spots, like the shooter's eyes, neck, and groin. If you end up on your back, use your feet and kick like crazy. Confusion and chaos will keep the active shooter guessing, unfocused, and vulnerable to your proactive approach. If you grab the gun, do not have it in your hands when the police arrive. Once you've subdued the active shooter, completely contain him until police arrive.
When police arrive at the scene, their first job is to stop the shooter. After that, they'll tend to any injured people. And finally, they'll work to get everyone out of the building.
When law enforcement is responding to an active shooter incident, we know that time is of the essence. We only have a matter of minutes to locate that shooter and prevent any injuries or loss of life.
Remember, officers won't stop to help injured people until the location is secure. Sometimes all it takes is some first aid and bleeding control training to keep an injury from becoming a fatality.
When officers enter a building looking for an active shooter, we may very well pass by people that have been shot or injured. So it's important for them to be able to treat their own injuries, or if individuals who aren't hurt decide to stay and help that person, that they know how to render that first aid and stop any bleeding.
An active shooter can spend a great deal of time planning and preparing for his attack. So spend time planning and preparing your response. The more practice you have, the more confident you'll be in your ability to act quickly and survive the event. Ideally, threats of violence will be recognized and stopped long before the shooter ever has time to implement his plan. If you see or hear indications of violence, report them. You have the power to save not only your life, but the lives of those around you.